Recording has started. Okay. So Sid, why don't you take it away?
Yep, great. I'll wait for everyone to click on yes and come back.
I don't see a yes.
Great.
Oh, just say yes.
Perfect.
Okay.
Do you see my screen?
Yes, we do.
Well, so Sarah, I'll just go over a few slides just to give you an overview as to what's new and also what's changed in how we roll out and everything, but then focus most of the time on the demo itself, if that makes sense. So now, I won't talk about everything that we do, but cyber landscape changes a lot. So we keep updating cyber safety as time goes on, especially based on the current cyber landscape. So since we launched it or did the rollout with Liberty or Liberty Mutual, we have added 4 new features, right? And these are 4 really good features, including cybersecurity consulting with our in-house consulting team for insurance. We continuously do a lot of market research, but since the last rollout we have really focused on market research for services themselves, in addition to the insurance product. Um, we created a new engagement model specifically to address this challenge, which we were talking about, which is low adoption. So we looked at the whole ecosystem to figure out how we can market, what marketing needs to happen, what are the different touch points that make adoption possible. And with all of that in mind, we also created a marketing toolkit, which makes it really easy for you as an insurer or even for your agents and brokers to easily talk about cybersecurity. So essentially, the whole goal here with the engagement model and the marketing toolkit is to just give you everything that you need to make it extremely easy for you to talk about these services. And that's because right now in the cyber insurance space, like it's no longer insurance product versus services. It's all one combined offering that almost every insurance company provides, and it's become table stakes. So I'll go over the some of the market research that we did recently, and these are some of the 2 key findings. So we did a research with about 1,000 agents and brokers, and everyone, like most of them, say that they rank cyber risk services as the same as cyber insurance when they're trying to partner with a insurance company. And we see the same from small businesses. 68% of small businesses say they're concerned about cybersecurity, but then 69% also say that they would rather have pre-breach services than wait for a breach to happen and go for post claims. So, which really shows that over the last few years, the sentiment has changed drastically. Both agents and brokers and businesses want these services and they are willing to use these services. So the goal really becomes getting the message to them that it's available and that they can sign up. That's really the goal. I won't go into this, but so far, with what Liberty Mutual had rolled out way back in 2023, I believe, right, Brenda? At that time, we had 4 key features within cybersecurity called the IT security policies, cybersecurity training for employees, continuous monitoring of their website, and the marketplace with other tools and services as value-add services. But since then, we launched Cyber Maturity, which is a way to continuously help a business understand where they're at within their cybersecurity journey and give them all the insights they need and the action plan to get better. We launched our Cyber Concierge service, which is essentially cybersecurity consulting. Any business can call us or set up one-on-one video sessions with us to get any kind of cybersecurity help. We also launched our active threat monitoring service, which is about continuously monitoring for any publicly visible vulnerabilities in the business's infrastructure and immediately alerting them as soon as we see any vulnerabilities. And then the last one, which is ransomware prevention as a service. And what we do here is we continuously monitor the dark web if we have the domain of the insured. And based on that, if we see that the business's credentials are being sold to ransomware attackers, we intercept that. We intercept that and buy that and take it off of the dark web. So essentially preventing a ransomware attack from happening. And all of this is included for every policyholder at no cost. So I'll pause here, see if you have any questions before I jump into the demo. So
No, that's awesome. The 4 new offerings seem like really great value adds and cool that it's accessible to all the policyholders. That's great.
How does it scale? Like things such as kind of the concierge service or purchasing credentials, things that have kind of an incremental cost.
yeah, so it's all on HSB. So we take on all of that cost, no matter what that cost is, including for ramping up our cyber concierge team. So as demand grows, we add more people to our team for ransomware prevention. When we think about ransomware attacks, the cost of a claim, the average cost of a claim that we see on our side through all of our client companies and on our direct business is about 65,000 per claim. And if we have to pay like $2,000 or $10,000 to take those credentials off, that's still worth stopping a ransomware attack from happening.
If you're buying, like, I mean, ultimately, I guess it matters. It's a scale thing, and I assume that like companies wouldn't necessarily call weekly for concierge service
No.
to,
Exactly.
So,
and
okay.
if they do, then that's a good problem to have, because we want to make sure that every business has as much security as they can. So far, no one has abused that service, so that's a good sign. So I'll go into the demo itself. Now, of course, this is the demo account, so everything that you see here is HSB branded, but as you're aware, for all of the Liberty Mutual insureds, the logo is Liberty Mutual and cyber safety. So within here, I'll go over all the modules within the demo, just as a refresher and reminder, but I'll focus more on the new modules new features that we talked about. So once the insured comes here to sign up, it's a few questions like what's your email address, password, name of the business, number of employees, and the industry. And once they put that information in, they're here in the account. And once they land here, they see the dashboard. The goal here is to always focus on people, processes, and technology, right? The 3 core pillars for any business is security. So we start with the cyber maturity module. That's what every business gets nudged to do. So that way, the first step is to help them understand where they are within their cybersecurity program. I'll go through the questions. So it's a set of about 19 different questions, and it's all across people, process, and technology, as I mentioned. And everything is based on the NIST CSF, but simplified for a small business. Because if a business wants to go through everything that NIST CSF recommends, then it's overkill. Most small to medium businesses don't need that. So we have really distilled it down to focus on what these businesses need. So they go through this questionnaire. They answer these questions. And once they are done with that, they can see where they are at for each one of these criteria. So, for example, for the security awareness and training program, if they say that they're at a level 2 based on their self-assessment, our goal here is not just to tell them where they're at, it's to help them understand what they need to do next to get to the next level. So it's all about giving them those actionable steps to get better with their cybersecurity. Right? We tell them what they need to do, and everything is linked through here, so they can just click through and take actions as needed. For example, if we go into, let's say, continuous monitoring, they're at a level 0. We tell them what they need to do to get to the next level, which is review their network security and acceptable use policy, or if they need an MDR service, they can directly go to one of our partners to get that continuous monitoring through EDR and MDR services. So think of this as a cybersecurity consultant in a self-service, easy-to-use solution. That's a goal with cybersecurity.
So, and you said in our version, this is Liberty Mutual branded, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So we may need to schedule a meeting with Stephanie Abhar, our legal counsel, who is reviewing similar kind of proactive security services, because she may be concerned that this establishes a potential obligation for Liberty Mutual to maintain cybersecurity for the policyholder, as well as if we're doing things like recommending a specific vendor, which I think you showed below, that we are taking responsibility for having suggested that vendor and that their performance will be satisfactory. And so depending on how, like, I'm clearly not the lawyer in this, but I can see her wanting to review it.
Yeah, and Gabe, just so that you know, this has been with Liberty Mutual has had this for a couple of years already. And when we initially launched it, it was vetted through your entire legal process and communications department. So everybody has had a look at it already, but we're more than happy to go through that process again. But I just wanted to assure you that it already went through your legal channels.
Yeah, it's probably just an effect of as we mature, as well as as the services become more directly preventative, or directly, things like the kind of the active monitoring that you mentioned, it starts to, like, I think that it will raise more questions, but it's partially just a maturity on our side thing. So
yep. So we're very happy to go through that process again.
Yeah.
I just wanted
and
to
it may
assure
not
you
be a
that
whole
it went through it
process.
once.
It's probably just a quick call to figure out where we are.
And
Sid, quick
similar
question.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, just really quick. Does it have to be branded for Liberty Mutual, or can we just have the equivalent of a blank space or something
Yeah,
like that?
so either, right? So we could, so we have client companies, other client companies that have done both, right? So some client companies that remove their branding, some client companies, they keep their branding, but then we also put in a disclaimer that these are not by Liberty Mutual. This is provided by HSB and Seguro and all of the no liability aspects within that disclaimer. So we have done all of these things. So happy to talk to legal and figure it out for you.
Yeah, there may be a way to handle it that way, because I know she's more comfortable with, provided by HSB, for Liberty Mutual, so that it's clear that HSB is the service provider versus Liberty Mutual.
Correct.
That's an important distinction.
Yep.
Gabe, if you want to drop her name, her last name in the chat, I can help facilitate that touch point.
Yep.
Okay, sounds good.
Next, I'll jump to the security policies module, keeping the theme of the process side of things. So within here, we provide the business with all these cybersecurity policies that they would ever need and they should have. And again, these are all based on the CSF and ISO 27001, but simplified for small business. So for example, if we go to the acceptable use policy, we tell a business, or we give them everything. And if you look at it, everything is in plain English versus security speak, because one of the biggest challenges for most businesses is they don't want to do anything because they don't understand cybersecurity. So the goal here is to make it approachable and easy, not just for the business owners, but also for all their employees who should be looking at these security policies to understand how they should be protecting their assets and resources. So everything that you see here is in purple is customizable. Now we recommend what the business should do, like we say, based on the industry best practice, but of course, no two businesses are different, so they can do what works best for their business. Once they customize these policies, they approve these, and they can download the PDF versions to send it out to their employees. Again, the goal here is to keep them simple so that they're not really long, like the policies that we usually get when we join a big company, like tens of pages with security speak, and no one really reads them. So this is all for helping employees and business owners get a quick idea of what they need to do to protect their assets and resources. Now, if a business does need to go through any regulatory requirements or audits or any audits by the large enterprise customers, they can also go in here to provide them with a full version history. So that way, it's easy for them to go through any audits that their customers might have for them. And if a business has security policies that they need, which we don't provide as templates, they can always create their own custom security policies. So if it's a doctor's office and they need a HIPAA policy, then they can create their own HIPAA policy. So this essentially becomes a full-fledged end-to-end cybersecurity policy management system for the business. Going on to the people side, in here, we provide continuous training for all employees. Now, the way that we do that is as soon as the administrator of cyber safety, whether it's a business owner or whoever it is, adds employees to the training module, we send them a knowledge assessment, and that's what you see here at this column. The knowledge assessment is about a 15 to 20-minute questionnaire, and it helps us understand the skill set or the security knowledge for each and every employee. So if we see that Jim is weak when it comes to cloud security, and if we see that Brenda is weak when it comes to using public Wi-Fi networks, then Jim gets enrolled in the cloud security training course first, and Brenda gets enrolled in the public Wi-Fi training first. So it's about addressing the most critical risks for each employee instead of sending everyone the exact same training each one. So this is fully customized to the individual cybersecurity knowledge and skill set. Within the core cybersecurity series, which is everything cybersecurity, there are 12 different courses, one each month, but there are 3 different levels, beginner, intermediate, and advanced. So that's about 36 months of courses. And they're all about 20 to 30 minutes long, a combination of videos and text, and a quiz at the end for us to understand how they're doing with the training. But if a business needs other courses or other training, for example, if it's a doctor's office and they need to be HIPAA compliant, then they can enroll the people who need to be HIPAA compliant in that specific course. Pause here. Any questions on the training module?
So is the training module mostly focused around knowledge? So to back up right from if there was anyone here a psychologist? I want to speak for a second.
No.
Okay. The psychologists that I've spoken with have always said, like, if we want someone to do the right thing, they need to know the right thing, they need to choose to do the right thing, and then they need in the moment to take that action.
Yeah.
Is this primarily focused at that knowledge step
Yes,
of the process?
exactly. The first two parts of that aspect. Right? So
How
this
does it
training,
work with the choosing to do the right thing? Like, how are we motivating people to want to do the secure thing over, the more efficient thing, or the thing that makes the company more money quickly, that kind of stuff?
So maybe I didn't get the distinction there. So the goal here is to always keep cybersecurity on top of mind. Right? And that's why we designed it so it's once a month versus once a year. But also not to overwhelm them, but once every week or once every 2 weeks. So that's one piece, which is always keeping it on top of mind without pushing them away from it. Two is that is the awareness piece itself on just knowing what the right thing to do is. It's not focused on the in-time action focused training. So, for example, if someone clicks on a link, what do we do then? Right. So, and this training is not focused on that. Later this year, sometime in Q3-ish timeframe, we are bringing in phishing simulations within here as well. So, and that will be focused on the within context and time training. So there'll be phishing campaigns which go out to all the employees. When someone clicks on a phishing link, then they'll immediately see a 5-minute training on that particular phishing campaign.
And we also have marketing material that's geared towards the end users so that they would understand why they should want to be doing this, what the risks are if they don't do this. So it's just keeping that type of communication in front of them is important.
Makes sense. Thank you.
The next module is the monitoring module, all about the tech side of things. And this is about continuously scanning for vulnerabilities within a business's website or a web app that they own or that they created. So, for example, if it's a web app that their customers log into to take whatever action it is. And again, the goal here is to make it easy. So they simply give it a name, put in the URL, and schedule it to be run either monthly or quarterly based on the time that they're on. And once the scan is complete, they get an email notification telling them to come back in here to look at the report. And once they're in here, they can download either a standard OWASP report or a PCI version if they need to be PCI compliant. Again, the goal here is to not just tell a business that they have vulnerabilities or what vulnerabilities they have. It's to also help them understand and give them all the information that they need to quickly fix it. So let's make this bigger. The report includes a list of all the vulnerabilities that were found, a full list of the tests that were run. And the details of the vulnerabilities that were found, including the technical details. So that way the business can send this report out to their tech team, whether it is internal or external, to have it fixed.
How do you choose what vulnerabilities to search for?
So we keep adding new vulnerabilities, and this is purely based on 2 different levels. One is a lightning scan, which is a really light version. It does not do any data injection attacks and so on. Whereas the normal scan, which is a lot more intrusive, that is an exhaustive list of vulnerabilities that we test for everything. So it always keeps being updated based on the new CVEs that keep getting released.
Does the data injection scan require user consent
Yes.
that can be withdrawn? Okay.
Yes. So this module, when someone is adding a website, they have to agree that they own that website or web app and that they consent to all these tests being run. And if they don't want that to happen, then they simply come in here and they can stop the scan or remove the website from being scanned.
Is it clear in the disclosure that they are consenting to the data
Yes.
injection versus like just the kind of
Mhm.
scan you get from a normal attack surface management tool?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And then where the priorities come from, the high or the severities?
The severities are based on the CVSS scores. So anything 7 or higher is a critical. The next module, I'll go back to the concierge now. So as I mentioned, the concierge is all about that one-on-one consulting that a business would need. So these are all 30-minute sessions that a business can set up. They can either schedule a call with our concierge team, or they can send an email to the concierge if they have any questions. And all of these could be either related to any cybersecurity help they need. So, for example, one of our concierge sessions was where a customer brought in a external penetration testing report that they had done, and they wanted to understand as to where to go with that. So our concierge team walked them through the pen test report and pointed them to the right resources that could help them fix those vulnerabilities, whether it is their IT team versus a MSSP or a security person that they need to go to, and so on. Another example is where this executive search firm, they were new, and they wanted to make sure that all the email that they're sending is encrypted. And when my concierge was talking to them, they figured out that they were using email service, which already had encryption built in. All they had to do is put in encrypt in parentheses in the subject line. So worked with them to test it out and make sure that they have that available. And if the customer wanted help with their incident response plan, and we have an incident response plan within the cyber maturity model. So we help them find that and help them fill that out and give them the instructions and details on how to do that. So it's all different kinds of questions that they come in with, and the concierge is here to help them. If our concierge cannot answer any questions, so for example, they need help with their endpoint protection system. Like we are not necessarily equipped with that. We don't want to remote desktop into their systems and figure things out. Right? And in those scenarios, we have a third-party company that we refer them to. Or if they already have a MSSP, then we recommend them to go talk to them for those kinds of projects.
How large is the concierge team and time zone wise, where are they located?
Time zone wise, in the Pacific time, and in Texas, so that's Central Time. And the team has 2 people right now.
Okay, and what type of experience does the team have?
Cybersecurity consulting experience. So
Anything more specific?
Yep. I was about to get into that. So small business cybersecurity consulting from different companies. So one of them has been at I forget the name of the company. It's one of the top cybersecurity or tech consulting firms, and they were doing cybersecurity consulting for SMBs for about 7 years, in cybersecurity as a general profession for about 12 years. The other person in cybersecurity and GRC related businesses or companies for about 20 years.
Yeah, thank you.
Right. Then the other piece is the active threat monitoring, and this is the external surface scan. So right now it is embedded as weaknesses within the Cyber Concierge module. Moving forward in about a few months, it will be a module in itself. In addition to monitoring for the website scanning, this will be the external scan report. And this is where anything that we find in the external scans, like penalty reports or SPF DMARC and so on, they're all in here. And again, the goal here is to give this information to the business and tell them and give them insights into how to fix it. And if they do need help, they can again have a conversation with our concierge.
Concierge services launched already, or are they going to be launched soon? Like, is this already available?
Yeah, this is already available right now. We do it once a month, and we are looking at seeing if we need to do it more frequently, but so far we haven't seen that demand from customers.
What is the uptake within small businesses? So both proactively reaching out, and what percentage of businesses fix the things that are proactively provided to them?
The proactive side, the active threat monitoring, we launched it in December, so we still don't have that information in terms of how many have fixed any of these proactive issues that we find on the external scan. So I don't have much info on that. In terms of the adoption of the cyber safety solution itself, it very much depends on the client as well, because at the end, it's about getting the message. What we know is that once a customer or an insured comes to a landing page, the conversion from coming to the landing page to signing up for the solution is 28%, which is extremely high compared to the top B2B SaaS companies, which is about 11.7%. So we know that the demand exists and the conversion is high. The goal is to make sure that they get to the landing page. Now, in some scenarios, we have the contact information of the insureds. So in those scenarios, we send out a welcome email directly to the insured. And in those scenarios, the conversion is 17% from conversion across the whole group is 17%, which is also really good when we look at what the industry is at.
What's the attrition rate in use? So of that 20% or 17%, depending on which group you're looking at, that signs in once, you know, after 6 months, what percentage are still signing in? After a year, what percentage are still signing in?
Yeah, it's about yearly. We don't look at that on a 6-month basis. So yearly, we have about 75% continued use. And 28, we have a core feature usage. We track feature usage across each and every module.
Yeah.
So because not every business needs everything, it really depends on what they want to use. And the core feature usage ranges based on the module anywhere from 28% to 75%.
Which module is most used and which one is least used?
The cyber maturity module is the most used, and then it is the monitoring module, and then training, and then security policies.
For the maturity one, do you track progress in maturing?
Yes.
And how do you see, like, do you have, I'm trying to think what the appropriate metric would be for it, but effectively for small businesses, do you see them progressing and getting better at the different steps? What percentage are doing that?
Yeah, so cyber maturity is about 10 months old since we launched it. So we don't have enough information to know how many are actually moving forward. What we see is that people using cyber maturity are also more likely to talk to our cyber concierge. When we send you the monthly report, in that report, we also give you details on who's using which module, or which business is using which module, how many websites they're scanning, or what their what their cyber maturity level is at that point in time. And then one last thing I did want to talk about is the ransomware prevention as a service. So with that, if we do find those credentials that we take off the dark web, then we also make sure that the insured is immediately notified that that has happened and giving them details on those credentials and the servers. We, of course, do not get the password. That stays with the third-party provider that we work with. And this cannot be communicated by email either. So we just send them a notification saying that we found breached credentials. It's a critical issue you need to look into right now. I'm going to the cyber safety solution to get more details. Now, for both of these, which is ransomware prevention and the active threat monitoring, for both of those, we can get that going if we have the domain and the contact information of the insured. For all of the other modules, the business has to sign up and take action. For the ransomware prevention and active threat monitoring, they don't need to sign up for cyber safety. They can still receive those two services if you have the domain name and the contact information.
Is the breach credentials, does that work globally?
No, these would be for a specific server.
Typically, not the credentials specifically. Do you offer that service to companies domiciled anywhere globally, or are there legal regional implications? US
and Canada. These are approved by the FBI and the DOJ and the Canadian government. So these are the two geographies where we can do this. UK will be coming soon. Our vendor or our partner is working with the UK government to make that happen. So in this scenario, once they find the breach credentials, the FBI is also informed about that, and the local FBI officers sometimes reach out to the end insured to let them know as well. So there are ways to make sure that the insured is notified. Ideally, if we are able to notify them directly and immediately, then that is the best case scenario to decrease the ransomware probability.
Makes sense.
And we have about 15 minutes, so we can jump to the engagement model itself, the project plan that we have with respect to helping rollout and making the rollout path easy as well. Unless you have any other questions on the cyber safety solution itself. Cool. So what we know is that any business needs 5 to 7 different touch points for them to take action to actually go to a landing page or to sign up for a solution. And that is true for any software product, any B2B SaaS solution, or a cybersecurity product. So with the engagement model that we have created, that has been the focus. How do we get these different touch points? How do we get to these different touch points, whether it is emails or seeing a LinkedIn ad or an agent talking to the business about it? So it could be different forms of channels and communications, but how do we get to those 5 to 7 different touch points? So with that in mind, over the last year and a half or so, we have created a full-fledged marketing toolkit, which can be used by Liberty Mutual. You can customize it to your needs, or can be used by your agents and brokers as well. And it includes various aspects like one-pagers, case studies, the specific infographics to help businesses understand the risk of cyber attacks and so on. Including email campaigns and social media campaigns that agencies can use as well. We have also created and designed training for your teams and for agents, because at the end, the goal is not for everyone to be experts at cybersecurity or to understand cyber safety end to end. The goal is to be able to know the talking points for your specific audience. So we have different trainings available for your underwriters versus for your account management team, different training for your loss control teams and so on. So it's about making sure that they have the right talking points for their specific audience. So if we want to go that route, that's also available. Cyber safety is also available for your agents to use, agents and brokers for their own businesses to be secure, but then also to make it easy for them to understand what cyber safety is about so they can have better conversations with their insurers. We also provide onboarding calls. So in addition to the concierge, which is very much focused on cybersecurity help, the onboarding is about helping businesses and agents understand cyber safety and to get them started with cyber safety. Because what we have seen is that having a 5 to 10 minute conversation with any business drastically increases the propensity of them using the solution. And with all of this in mind, we created a 8-week project plan, and this includes various things that you do, we do, but a big part of that is training and suggesting and providing you with all of the campaigns that we see work. So that's just a preview, but we can get into these details as we get more into the marketing campaigns that you want to run, or we can always work with you on those.
So I think one of the things that's really exciting about this is that this is a tool that your customers can use to help understand risk and mitigate risk, which I know is one of the key focuses for Liberty right now. So you've had this tool for a little while, but we're here to help you increase the adoption of the tool.
Yeah, and wholly agree. Not just about having the tool, it's having all the information to help everyone along the path understand how to communicate it. And so, the tool itself looks good in the underlying data sources and such, but also having the toolkit is really impressive.
Yeah.
And so when we first did the rollout about 2 years ago, we did not have this tool. And since then, after one of the things that we did do with Liberty is to help understand that ecosystem. And that's where this whole toolkit comes from to really make it easy.
Located like on the site somewhere, or do I just work with your team, Brenda, to get access?
Oh yes, it's outside. It's outside of the site. It's a okay. Whole marketing toolkit that includes campaigns and marketing materials and stuff like that. So we'd love to be able to work with your corporate communications on how we can, relaunch this.
Yeah. No, I think that'd be great. I think there's just very limited awareness. Like I know Adam knew about it because he kind of helped support it initially, but then I think it's kind of been forgotten or just like very underutilized. So definitely something we want to push like internally so underwriters can market it, but also externally. So definitely we'll work with you to get some of those resources and work with our marketing to help revamp that.
And I also think I don't want to forget the loss control aspect of this as well, because it is a tool that helps mitigate risk. So maybe we can get in front of your loss control people as well.
So, I'm sorry I was late, by the way. I just one of those days.
It's okay. We
Um,
understand.
I'm Gabriel Bassett. I head our cyber risk engineering team, and John Hawes on my team heads our cyber proactive loss control services. He's
Yeah.
on UK time, but he would definitely be an excellent person to bring into this conversation.
Fantastic. Whatever you want to, whatever path you want to take, we're here to support. So just let us know how you want to do it.
Yeah, we'll facilitate an introduction, then I'm sure he would love to hear kind of about this and what it provides and help build it into the larger design that he's putting together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looks really great. Siddhartha, thanks so much for the demo.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, thank you guys for your time. And then we'll look forward to hearing back from you, Sarah and Gabe, as to what the next steps will be. But we're here and ready to roll with you.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
appreciate it.
that looks
Thank you.
great. Yeah, we'll
And it's
chat
very
soon.
clear the amount of work that's gone into putting it all together.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Thanks
Well,
so much.
with
And
that,
really
I'm gonna
nice meeting you too.
Stop the
Likewise.
recording. Stop
Guys,
recording.
have a good day.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
y'all.
Okay.